Hi lovelies, welcome, and if you're not new here, welcome back to Glowings. It's Glow, your fairy guide here, and today we're going to talk about something pretty intense. So I welcome you to take a deep breath with me. I try to get you to do your breath work every day because I feel like some of us are still very tense and worked up. You might be going through different things in your life. I'm not really sure what's going on with you, but if you are worked up right now and tense, please join me in taking a breath. And I want you to ease your mind and ease your spirit. If you've been feeling like your heart's been really heavy and you keep questioning and you keep obsessing over that one person or that one thing, today's video is for you. We're going to be talking about why you can't move on and how to finally move on and the psychology behind it. And trust me, it's not because you're weak. It's honestly just because your brain doesn't know any different. The first reason you can't move on is just simple neuroscience. Your brain loves patterns. Your brain hates the unknown. It's always seeking for familiarity, for home, even if it's not good for you. Think of your brain like a path through the forest. Every time you see someone, every time you talk to someone on that same path, every time you emotionally react to them, you're walking that same path again. Over time, that path that was once a stranger to you now becomes clearer. It feels more familiar and it automatically becomes your route. So when that person or situation just suddenly disappears, your brain doesn't know where to walk anymore. Your brain doesn't say to you, oh, this was so toxic, or this wasn't aligned. It simply looks around like, where's our routine? Where's our path? Where's the same road we took every day? Where's our normal? Where's what we've been practicing every single day? When someone becomes a part of your daily routine, your brain actually wires itself around it. So when it just suddenly disappears, it's basically like you're going through a withdrawal because your brain has associated that person to your everyday habits that now it really is a withdrawal for you. And just like you would when you're breaking any habit, your brain is basically missing the chemical reaction that that person or that situation triggered in you. The dopamine, the anticipation, the familiarity. And that's why sometimes you don't even want the person back. You just miss them. The second reason is because you're attached to potential and not really the reality of things. Another reason you can't really move on from them is because of this. You didn't fall in love with the person, but you fell in love with the idea of them. That maybe one day you fell in love with the fantasy, the potential. Psychology calls this hope-based attachment. And it's when you just stay stuck thinking about what could have been instead of what actually was. So even if the relationship was inconsistent or draining, your brain focused on the butterflies, the glimpses, the good moments that were happening in your situation or relationship. And those moments become your truth. That's why you replay those moments over and over and over again. It's because they were rare. Your heart wasn't attached to who they were. It was attached to who you thought they were becoming, or who you thought they could become, or the potential that you saw in them. You were in love with the upgraded version of them, the one you never even met. And really, that's why letting go is sad, is because you're mourning the dream and not really the reality. You're missing the version of them you created in your mind. The third reason we're going to focus on is emotional depth. And yes, sometimes a lot of us do we do have emotional depth. We feel like if we've invested this much in someone, why should we just walk away? I feel like this is one of the major reasons people still stay in relationships that they should have moved on from, or relationships that don't benefit them in any way, or relationships that are just so self and energy draining. Emotional debt happens when you give your time, your love, your patience, your forgiveness, your energy to a person or to a situation, and then you feel like because you've done that, you deserve a return on your investment, or you need to get a return on your investment. Let me not say deserve, because you're a beautiful soul and you do deserve that, but that's where it gets tricky. You think to yourself, but I tried so hard and I've built so much with them. Years have gone by and they're my everything. I've cared for them. I've been there for them when things were really hard. And you think to yourself, I can't just walk away now. Like, where am I gonna go? Like, what am I gonna do? And suddenly leaving doesn't just only seem sad, but it feels like you're losing a part of yourself as well. And it feels like you're throwing away all the work you did, all the versions of yourself that you sacrificed, all the times you stayed up late hoping they'll be okay, all the times you cared for them, you took care of them. That's exactly why moving on seems so hard. It's because you're telling yourself, well, I've done all these things for them and I can't just walk away. Like, I just can't. I have to see it through. But someone wise once told me it's better to get off the train when you realize you're on the wrong train than to get to the final destination of that train and then realize you were on the wrong train all along. Okay? And I hope that makes sense to you. And here's the truth I also want you to learn. You're not losing years. You're not losing yourself. You're not losing your energy. You're not losing your love. All of that shaped you, all of that strengthened you, and all of that refined you. So now take all that energy, take all those lessons to a healthier relationship, to a healthier situation. Take all of that to a healthy chapter of your life, because you've evolved and you've grown. Another reason I hear a lot of people say, and even my friends, is, oh, I just never got closure. Like, I wish they would have, closed the chapter, or I wish they would have told me this, or I wish they would have told me that. That's the thing about, like, people who do care about you. They'll never leave you in a position where you have to second guess, where you have to question, where you have to think, oh, do you or do you not? Like, it's never a thing of, oh, I don't know, they're on the fence, like, they didn't even talk to me, it shows that they don't even respect you. Like, what do you mean they didn't even tell you what do you mean? You know? Like, it just shows you that they don't even respect you as a person, which means it gives you more of a reason to want to move on. Because why would you want to be with someone who can't even communicate with you? Why would you want to be with someone who can't even tell you what is right? Why would you be with someone who can't even tell you, they can't even talk to you? It's the bare minimum to communicate with you. And they couldn't even give you closure. And they couldn't even tell you, I don't want to be with you anymore. They go ghost. So let them be dead. Okay? Dead to you. Dead to the situation. If they go ghost, you go stir. Okay? Please. You're like, a lot of you are so pretty. A lot of you are so full of light to be allowing mediocrity be the reason you can't leave your bed, you can't go to the gym because you're so depressed and you're so sad and you can't move on. Like, please, you're beautiful. Like, are we looking at the same people, guys? Are we? You're so gorgeous. Don't you ever let some mediocre person be the reason you start doubting yourself. You feel like you're not enough. You feel like, let me remind myself, I need to be whimsy and I shouldn't be yelling at you guys, but like, I know the person, like, I know what it feels like to be in your position, and so, like, just, it angers me because I just have to remind you guys, if someone's taking advantage of you, fuck them. Let them fucking, what did Billy say? Go trip on a knife or something. Like, get out of here, you know? Anyways, guys, back to sorry. It just pisses me off. Another deep breath, okay? Like I said, it was gonna be intense. I'm just mad for you, okay? I'm just really mad for you. Because I know what that's like. Anyways, I want you to know that closure is a psychological thing. It's not really something someone has to give to you. It's something that you have to create inside yourself. And sometimes you can't move on because you feel like your story never got to the final or finish line, just stopped. And your brain hates incomplete stories. Your brain is going to replay the stories, it's going to reanalyze because it's trying to figure out answers. It's always searching for answers. It's going to figure out a way to make this make sense to you, to ease the burn, to ease the heartache. But I want to remind you that closure doesn't come from their explanation. Like, even if they explain to you why they wanted to move on from you, I'm sure your brain is still going to reanalyze that data, make it make sense. I want you to know that closure comes from acceptance. It's accepting this person didn't respect me, and that's it. They didn't respect me, they didn't respect, or they didn't want to continue this with me. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. You have to realize people treat you based on how they treat themselves. People love you with the amount of love they have in themselves. And so if they're not showering you with love, and if they're not pouring love into you, or they just suddenly want to stop whatever situation you have going on, it is not your fault. It is a reflection of who they are. It is a reflection of what they're going through. It is a reflection of who they're becoming. And I know it burns, but you have to understand that you are so full of love, you're so full of light, and there's nothing wrong with you. And whoever is meant for you is not going to walk away from you, okay? And so if you're now realizing and understanding why you're stuck, let's talk about how to get unstuck, because awareness means nothing without action. The first step is to acknowledge the attachment. And what that means is not pretending you're fine, or not pretending like this doesn't hurt you, or not pretending that you're not attached to the situation, because by numbing it, you're not necessarily healing it. Think of it like a wound. If you cut your hand and you put like ice or numbing sensation on your hand, you're gonna get to a point where the numbness is gonna fade away, and what's left is the wound. So you have to take care of it. You have to try and heal it. And the first step to healing it is acknowledging that there is a wound on your hand, and that it needs to be fixed, and then it needs to be healed, because you can't heal what you refuse to look at, and ignoring it doesn't make it go away, and it buries it deeper to where it keeps showing up as anxiety, as overthinking. So be honest with yourself. Tell yourself, yes, I'm still attached. Yes, a part of me is holding on to this, and yes, it still hurts. And when you acknowledge the attachment, you stop fighting your own heart. Number 2, you have to separate the reality from the fantasy. This one is powerful because it breaks the illusion of what's keeping you stuck. So ask yourself, what was real versus what did I imagine? Because when we care about someone, we naturally fill in the gaps with hope and the moments of truth, and we ignore the moments that actually hurt us. But healing requires truth, not the dream version of the story, but what actually happened, the truth of it. Sometimes the fantasy was what kept you going, and that's okay. Your brain needed to do what it needed to do, and you weren't wrong for hoping, but now you have to choose clarity over confusion and choose the whole picture, not just the highlights. Number 3, you have to forgive yourself for staying. I know sometimes when your brain thinks about those situations again, it starts to go into panic mode, and you start to feel a little embarrassed and a little ashamed, I should have left when that happened, or that's so cringy, why did I stay through that, OMG, but you didn't know any better. And you have to treat yourself a little kinder. When people are in love, or when we're in love, we're a little bit dumb to things, and then we don't really judge correctly, okay? And so when those moments have passed and we're now looking back on it, we're like, oh, well, I should have done this different. I should have left. So I want you to forgive yourself for staying. Don't label yourself as foolish. Don't label yourself as weak. Don't label yourself as stupid, okay? Hoping isn't a mistake. It's proof that your heart believed in love. It believed in the person. It believed, and honestly, to me, that makes you really magical, because if you're capable of loving someone the way you did, then you are magic, and you are so full of love, you are so full of light, that's what a lot of people want to have, is that level of care, for that level of empathy. And I'm not even kidding. You can see that in today's day and age, where people just don't have empathy anymore. People just don't care about people anymore. So if you still have that gift, you're very special, and there is nothing wrong with you. And if people take advantage of it, please, 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 cut them off. Cut them off. They don't deserve you, and the truth is, they're gonna look for you. You know that song, but I'm in the trees? Everywhere they go, they will be looking for you, okay? It's just the reality of things, okay? But I don't want you to give them another second chance, because when I am a second chancer. If someone messed up one time, you're done. You're done, because you thought I was foolish. You thought I was stupid. You thought I'm dumb. Yeah, I'm not gonna give you a bullet. Shoot me again. Bye. So that's how you should be too. Or actually, I don't know, be whoever you want. If you give second chances, good on you, but it just ain't my thing. I'm not giving you another chance to mess up or to show me you're not worth my time. Number 4, you have to create a new identity. And this is really important because this step is where you basically create a new version of yourself. I know letting go isn't easy, and the point isn't about just forgetting them. The point isn't just to be like, oh yeah, that just never existed. But it's about learning who you are without them, creating that new version of yourself. Who am I without XYZ? Who am I without this situation? Who am I when I'm not, with them? And you have to ask yourself, what parts of me did I lose in them? What parts of me was I holding on to from really being me because I was with them? Because the truth is, we often tie our identity, ourself, our values to who we're with. We define ourselves by who loved us, who needed us, or who we were in someone's story. And when that ends, it can feel like we've lost a piece of ourselves. But I want you to start small. To rediscover yourself, you have to start small. Go on a walk, rediscover old hobbies, do things that make your spirit feel alive. And gently but slowly, I can promise you, day by day, when you start rediscovering yourself, you start taking yourself out on dates, you start finding old hobbies, you start walking, you will slowly start to move on. And I want you to remember that slow progress is still progress. So just because like you thought about them today or you missed them, or it doesn't mean you're not healing. Healing doesn't mean just forgetting that situation ever happened. No, it's about finding a new version of yourself without them. Yes, it did happen, but who am I without this person? What version of me is this now that I'm discovering? And that way you can move on better, you can flourish better. And I don't want you to beat yourself down about whoever this person is. Remember that if they can't meet you where you're at, even if you've been going on for 7 years to 10 years, but if they just stop meeting you where you're at, you're allowed to find yourself again. You're allowed to find someone else. You're allowed to find yourself again, and don't beat yourself down for it. It's not your fault. I know a lot of you are so full of love and you're so full of magic, and I can tell, because if you clicked on this, that means you see the beauty in whatever this is, and that means you see the beauty in yourself. Okay? So please take care of yourself. Be gentle with your spirit. Be gentle with yourself. And I love you. And I love you. Protect your glow. Protect your peace. And I'll see you lovelies in the next video. Bye, honey.